Hello, everyone out there, and we're back with another episode of the AC Podcast, bringing to you all the current NFL news and sports in general. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Conrad. Y'all may notice I got a new logo. Thank you, Connie Westside. Y'all go check him out on MTMV Sports Podcast. I appreciate you, Connie. You're my brother. Love you very much, and I appreciate what you did for me. I want to get into this week, man, because I just saw some unbelievable stuff yesterday. I think you guys know where I'm going to start. I'm not starting with the Cowboys. I have nothing to tease them about today because they lost. Because another team in the division just appalled me yesterday. Appalled me. I was shocked the Cowboys lost to the Jets. I was. And was I happy? Yeah, a little bit. But yesterday, at 1 p.m. Eastern time, I found myself disgusted. And you guys are probably wondering why I found myself disgusted. I found myself disgusted with a team that comes out of the city of brotherly love. A team that was expected to be a Super Bowl contender this year. A team that does not look better than the Dallas Cowboys right now. And the Dallas Cowboys are on a 3-game losing streak. I realize that. But I'm here to tell you something right now. The Eagles are not better than the Dallas Cowboys. They're not. I hate to say it. It's leaving a sour taste in my mouth. I came to this realization yesterday. I admitted to a Cowboys fan himself. I called him up and I told him, hey, yo, there is no way that the Eagles are winning this division. There's no way. Not currently, I don't see it. And I'm not reacting to just one game. This is an overreaction. This is what I've seen through 6 games so far. He's like, hey, man, it's just 6 games. It's just 6 games. Well, you know what? I'm conceding. Because the expectation wasn't just to win the division. The expectation was to be a Super Bowl contender. And the Eagles do not look like that. The Cowboys don't either. But the Eagles look farther away than the Cowboys do. Much farther away. So let's get it started. Eagles played the Vikings yesterday. Lost to them 38-20. Carson Wentz 26 of 40, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. QBR 71. But unfortunately, Carson Wentz doesn't have the firepower, and he didn't have much any other help from anybody else because guys just decided not to show up, mainly the defense. I'm going to get to the offense first because I'm going to get hot on the defense. I'm going to get hot on them. But this offense, Carson Wentz didn't touch the ball on the first drive. Now, granted, Miles Sanders took the ball at the end zone instead of staying in, and the Eagles had to start at the 7-yard line after they got a penalty. But it's just unbelievable that the Eagles ran the ball 3 straight times and didn't let their $107 million quarterback touch the ball. What are you doing, Doug Peterson? You pay this man $107 million to hand the ball off to the running back? It ain't like you got Ezekiel Elliott back there. You ain't got Todd Gurley back there. You don't got Le'Veon Bell back there. You got to get a guy you trade a 4th-round pick for. Let Carson Wentz throw the football. And then all game, I just feel bad for Carson Wentz. I feel bad for him. Because I don't know what he's working with in the receiving core. Alshon had a decent day. 7 receptions, 67 yards. Or 77 yards, whatever he had. But Alshon, there was a play that I saw where he caught a ball in the open field. And Alshon literally looked like he's carrying a truck on his back. He looks so slow. Ertz ain't going to beat you but 10 to 15 yards down the field. He ain't a deep threat. Aguilar, we don't know when and if he's going to catch the ball. Dallas Goedert, he was respectable yesterday, but it didn't matter. No Deshaun Jackson in this offense can't seem to muster up any type of deep passing game. Can't muster up anything. And then you had 4 more drops yesterday, making it a total of 16 drops on the season. By far the most in the NFL. When's someone going to give Carson Wentz some help? I don't want to hear anything about Carson Wentz's leadership. I don't want to hear anything about Carson Wentz not motivating guys like Nick Foles did. I don't want to hear anything about anything that is pertaining to Carson Wentz. I don't want to hear anything negative. This game's not on him. I don't want to hear it. Nick Foles is hurt right now. I find the irony in that y'all said Carson Wentz was an injury-prone quarterback. I find the irony in that once he gets a starting job, he gets hurt. Let's not forget he missed a season in Philadelphia with a broken collarbone midway through a season. So let's not act like he's not injury-prone. But I don't want to hear anything about Carson Wentz and his leadership. Carson Wentz's job as the quarterback is to inspire and motivate guys and lead guys. I get that. But what can't be excused is Carson Wentz is not getting paid to make sure guys catch balls. Carson Wentz isn't getting paid to make sure guys don't give up sacks. Carson Wentz is putting the ball on the money and receivers are dropping balls. Alshon dropped the pass yesterday. Matt Collins dropped the touchdown pass yesterday. Zach Ertz dropped the key third down. He was interfered with, but he got his hands on the ball. You just can't make this stuff up with the Philadelphia Eagles. Their offense starts slow every game. Can't seem to get anything going. And now you have Doug Peterson talking about guaranteeing a victory. I hope so against Dallas. I hope so. You're talking a big game. But I expect to see a good 14 points put on the board in the first quarter. You're the offensive mind. Where is the offense? Eagles were playing from behind the entire game. They are 23rd in rushing yards per play with 3.88 through 6 games. They're 22nd in passing yards per play through 6 games, 6.35. They're 26th in yards per play, 5.12. You got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This offense is not doing anything. And Carson Wentz is doing everything. The players around him are not doing their jobs. It's unbelievable. For anyone who wants to question Carson Wentz, he's tied for third in third down completions this year with 37. In passing touchdowns, he's tied for fourth with 12. Total QBR, he's fifth, 67.5. He's performing like a top 5 quarterback. We have a top 5 quarterback, and these receivers can't seem to do anything right. It's unbelievable. I challenge anyone right now to find a person in this Eagles receiving core that they love. Not like, love. Because Pro Football Focus had this O-line and this receiving core rated the best. And I was kind of shocked. And I don't see it. The Eagles have great depth at receiver. I get it. They have good depth in the offensive line. I get it. But what guy scares you on this Philadelphia Eagles offense other than Carson Wentz? What guy? Alshon? He's carrying a sack of potatoes on his back? Nelson Aguilar, alligator arm and passes? Zach Ertz can't beat you but 10 to 12 yards down the field. He's not a vertical threat like Travis Kelce or George Kittle. He's not running by anybody. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 2 receptions for 14 yards, and we invested a high draft pick in you. Jordan Howard, he's a good running back, but he ain't Zeke or anybody else. You have got to be kidding me. The Eagles' best receiver is a 32-year-old Deshaun Jackson. And he's out right now. So you have no vertical passing game. Their second fastest receiver is Nelson Aguilar right now. That is their fastest receiver on the field right now. Not their best deep threat. Their second fastest receiver. Or their fastest receiver right now. I think the Eagles need to trade Nelson Aguilar, number 1. Because let me just read you guys this stuff. Because it's just unbelievable. This guy's a first-round pick, and he's never going to live up to it. I don't know what Howie Roseman sees, but it's time to trade him. It's time to trade him. Nelson Aguilar ranks 90th out of 94 receivers graded according to Pro Football Focus and ranks 63rd out of 71 wide receivers according to Football Outsiders. Nelson Aguilar, his career rankings by Pro Football Focus, 2015, 101 out of 101. 2016, 103 out of 104. 2017, his best year, 35th out of 107. 2018, 74th out of 108 and 90th. And 2019, 90th out of 94? This is a joke. And he's making the 26th most money among wide receivers, $9.4 million. He's stealing money from the Philadelphia Eagles bank account right now. He's stealing it. There's no way he should be on this team. He needs to be traded. This is unacceptable. It's flat out ridiculous and it's unacceptable. The Eagles' best deep threat is a running back. A rookie running back is your best deep threat. The Eagles' longest pass plays the last 4 games. Starting with the Vikings game, 45 yards from Wentz to Sanders, 32 yards from Wentz to Sanders in the Vikings game, 2 of those. 33 yards from Carson Wentz to Miles Sanders. And then against the Jets, a 36-yard reception from Wentz to Sanders. Against the Lions, a 40-yard throw from Wentz to Sanders. How is a running back your best deep threat on offense? That doesn't make any sense. The Eagles can only get a deep passing play if Carson Wentz is throwing the wheel route to the running back, Miles Sanders, who's a rookie. And he didn't have more than 30 receiving yards in any game at his college. This is ridiculous. The Eagles have no vertical passing game. You have to have some type of vertical passing game to keep the defense honest. Carson Wentz has a big arm. I don't know what the Eagles are supposed to do. But this season is not on Carson Wentz. He's 2 drop passes away from being 5-0 going into yesterday's game. He would have been 5-1 because the secondary didn't show up. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody else isn't doing their job except for Carson Wentz on offense. I don't want to hear anything about him. I don't want to hear a word about Carson Wentz and his play. It's everybody else's fault. Yes, I'm blaming everybody. Every single person. You can't watch that game yesterday and tell me that Carson Wentz was at fault. And I don't care about the interception that he threw either. Because he's just trying to make a play after Ertz fumbled the ball away on the previous possession when the game was already over anyways. It's unbelievable. And I'm not done yet. Because let me get to this horrendous secondary. This is the main reason right here. I'm going to speak about this calmly because I just don't have the energy. They've worn me out. But let me just say this. The Eagles have the worst secondary in the league. They have the absolute worst secondary in the league. I can't even fault Jim Schwartz. It's not even from a lack of scheme or coaching. It's just the players that the Eagles have in the secondary. And I'm talking about every single one of them. Rodney McLeod and Malcolm Jenkins included. Because even they're busting coverages. The Eagles corners going into yesterday's game. Sidney Jones starting, coming back from a hamstring injury. Rasul Douglas and Craig James. Signed Orlando Scandrick a few weeks ago. Sidney Jones getting picked on early. Got beat on a double move to the end zone. I don't know how you get beat on a double move while you're biting on double moves and you have the end zone to back you up. But only the Eagles corners could find a way. Rasul Douglas, who's athletically challenged, getting roasted by Stephon Diggs all over the field. Then there comes the lowest of lows for the secondary. And this is how you know that you need to be trading for corners immediately. Sidney Jones got benched for a practice squad player midway through a drive yesterday. A practice squad player was inserted into the starting lineup for Sidney Jones because he was playing that god-awful. And Rasul Douglas wasn't much better. When matched up with Diggs, he was aligned against him on 11 pass plays, was targeted 5 times, including the 2 deep touchdowns. And Diggs caught 3 receptions, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns, according to Next Gen Stats. Diggs had, in total yesterday, 7 receptions, 167 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They made this man look like Jerry Rice. And Kirk Cousins looked like Dan Marino yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Especially after Zach Brown went and opened his mouth and said Kirk Cousins is the weak link on offense. And then we couldn't find you Yesterday in the post-game presser, you didn't want to answer questions about the game? Does anybody have questions about the game? That's what you said? That is about the game. Kirk Cousins was running y'all tired. Now, granted, you're in the front seven, so it wasn't all your fault. You did your job against the run game. But where were you? You talked all that noise, and now you don't want to answer questions about the guy that you talked about, who performed stellar yesterday. Kirk Cousins, 22 of 29, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a fluky interception. Had a QBR of 94 on a scale of 0 to 100, and you don't want to talk? We can't find you? Be a man and answer. You were a man and talked all that junk. Now be a man and answer for what he did to your defense. Unbelievable. The Eagles' defense is horrendous. Fletcher Cox is good. Brandon Graham, he's sporadic. Derek Barnett, he's pretty good. But the Eagles' defense is porous. They're slow. They look slow. They look athletically challenged. Rasul Douglas can't cover anybody. He is the Eagles' best corner right now. And he runs about a 4.56 in the 40. He can't cover any receiver. He has no long speed. So he can be had. Sidney Jones, it's like he runs 10 yards and he's got a hamstring injury every game. So you can't trust him. Ronald Darby and Avonte Maddox, even if they weren't hurt, it wouldn't even matter because they get roasted too. And Jalen Mills, once he comes back, you got Eagles fans clamoring for Jalen Mills like he's an elite corner. He gets roasted too. There's no hope in this secondary for any of the players that are currently on the roster. Which leads me to my ultimate conclusion about the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not a Super Bowl contender. There's no way that they can win the Super Bowl with this horrendous, this pathetic, this atrocious, this god-awful, this moribund, this pathetic of a secondary. There's no way. There is no way on God's green earth that is 75% water that the Eagles can win a Super Bowl with this secondary. I don't care if Carson Wentz went Patrick Mahomes on the league. There is no way. No way the Eagles can win a Super Bowl with this secondary as currently constructed. You got dudes busting coverages and quarters coverage. Dudes busting coverages over the middle of the field in the end zone. Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod I'm speaking of. Corners can't cover anybody. And the only time you find an Eagles corner close to a receiver is when they're holding or committing pass interference. It's unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up with the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't make it up. They are a catastrophe at corner. If they don't trade for corners, I'm talking elite. They can't just trade for Jalen Ramsey. That's not going to solve it to me. You got to trade for 2 corners. And I don't care what you give up to get them. Everyone except for Carson Wentz, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Brooks, and Zach Ertz should be up for trade value. Should be up for a trade as far as I'm concerned. Everybody else. Because this is unbelievable. This team is performing below expectations. And if the GM doesn't trade for a corner, he's basically throwing the season in my opinion. Because you can't tell me, the GM can't sit there with a straight face in the press box, and he can't sit with a straight face in a press box and not acknowledge that the Eagles are terrible at corner. He can't not do something about this. The GM has to do something about this. He has to, because there's no way the Eagles can win anything. Never. So we'll see where that goes. I'm done with the Philadelphia Eagles for now. They play the Cowboys next week. I'm not feeling confident about that game. I don't care that the Cowboys lost to the Jets. I'm not feeling confident about that game at all. I don't care if the Cowboys don't have Amari Cooper. Our secondary can be had by any quarterback. Our secondary can make any quarterback look like Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Dan Marino, John Elway. Panthers beat the Bucs yesterday, 37-26. This is what I mean about the Bucs, man. This is exactly what I mean about the Bucs. They dropped 55 on the Rams, and you had a little bit of expectation for them, and then they wet the bed against the Saints. And now they lose to the Panthers and the backup Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen, 20 of 32, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Winston was an atrocity yesterday. He's an absolute atrocity. 30 of 54, a touchdown and 5 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 1 lost, a 6.4 QBR. Jameis Winston's not a franchise quarterback. Bucs need to just give it up. They just need to give it up. I understand he was the number 1 overall pick. You've had 3 different coaches in here. You fired 2 of them. Bruce Arians, he's a good coach. But I'm sorry. The Bucs are all smoke and mirrors. They're a mirage. They're the biggest mirage in the NFL because the minute you start believing them and have some expectations for them, that's when they wet the bed. And it's not all Jameis Winston's fault yesterday. The O-line is horrendous. He was getting pressured all day, getting sacked all day, running for his life all day. But this is just a recurring thing with the Tampa Bay Bucs. You turn on, you go to see their movie every year, and they stir up some confidence in you, and then they show you the same ending. What is this, the 6th edition? I don't want to see this movie anymore because I know how it ends. They need to get a new director for this movie. And by director, I mean a new quarterback. Panthers are undefeated with Cam Newton. Cam could be in trouble. His job could be on the line. Panthers are saying they might just leave Kyle Allen in when and if Cam's healthy. Now there's a report that says there'd be at least 10 teams interested if Cam was to be on the trade market. If the Carolina Panthers trade Cam Newton, I think they'd be foolish. Because there's no way a healthy Kyle Allen is better than a healthy Cam Newton. He operates this Norv Turner offense better. I'll give him credit for that. But I don't know about this guy. I do not know about him. But Cam's in trouble. That's for sure. That is for certain. That is for certain. I cannot deny that Cam is in trouble right now. Cowboys yesterday lose to the Jets 24-22. Had a chance to convert a 2-point conversion. Greg Williamson all-out cover 0 blitz to Dak. Jamal Adams came right up the A-gap, and Marcus May stopped Jason Witten from catching a pass. It wasn't pass interference. I don't want to hear that from any Cowboys fans. Sorry. Not going to let that happen today. Dak, pedestrian game again. 28 of 40, 277 yards. Darnold in his return game. 23 of 32, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. How? Where do you start with these Cowboys, man? Oh, my goodness. Cowboys defense is they're just too inconsistent. One game they look like a dominant defense. The next game you can't find these guys. How do you let a guy coming off of mono throw for 338 yards on you? Ain't like the Jets got a stellar receiving core. Robbie Anderson's nice. He's decent. He ain't all that. I mean, come on. Dak, he's costing himself money right now. Because I don't think Jerry Jones believes that he has a franchise quarterback. I don't care what Jerry says. I don't care what Jerry Jones says. He does not believe in Dak Prescott. Because he gave $100 million to a running back who had off-the-field issues before he gave $100 million to the most important position in pro football. The quarterback. I don't care what Jerry and Cowboys executives and management has to say. They're using this season to evaluate Dak Prescott. And if he doesn't perform to snuff, they're going to find a reason to lowball him. They're going to give him 25 to 30 million instead of what he wants, 32 to 35, maybe 40. It's just obvious. Every other team that has a franchise quarterback or feels like they have one has paid them. Tampa Bay didn't pay Marcus Mariota. Tampa Bay didn't pay Jameis Winston. Tennessee hasn't paid Marcus Mariota. Carson Wentz didn't even make it to his 5th-year option before the Eagles paid him. Jared Goff didn't make it to his 5th-year option before the Rams paid him. Cowboys don't believe in Dak Prescott. They believe in him to a certain extent. At their price, they do. but not the price that he wants. Cowboys got exposed yesterday. They've been getting exposed. Ever since those three sorry games, those 3 games they played against sorry opponents, the Giants with Eli Manning, the Redskins and their dysfunctional selves, and the tanking, traveling circus that is the Miami Dolphins. Other than that, they haven't beaten anybody. Lost to the Saints, Sunday Night Football. The Saints who didn't even score an offensive touchdown, and Teddy checked down Bridgewater. Then you lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. They had you down 31-3 at one point. And then yesterday, you just lay an egg against the New York Jets. Dak looks suspect. He looks suspect. Zeke ran for 105 yards on 28 carries and a touchdown. Dak looks like the guy who, unless he has an ideal situation with his whole offensive line healthy, a running back that's rushing for north of 100 yards, and no more receiver, he doesn't like a guy that can get it done. I like Dak. I think he's a good quarterback. But it doesn't look like he can get it done without a perfect situation around him. That's what it looks like to me. And that's a question mark. He's not making a case for himself to get paid, that's for sure. But I still think the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC East. Because guess what? Other than the quarterback position and the coach, the Cowboys have everything better than the Eagles. Cowboys running back is better than the Eagles. Cowboys receiving core is better than the Eagles. Cowboys defense is better than the Philadelphia Eagles. The only advantage the Philadelphia Eagles have against the Cowboys is the quarterback and the coach. That is it. And that's not going to get it done because at some point you need some talent. And Eagles are bereft of talent and speed at the cornerback and the receiver position. They're bereft of it. It's clear. Alshon's good, but he don't scare you. Zach Ertz is good, but he's only going to beat you 10 to 12 yards down the field. Nelson Aguilar drops passes. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is big, but he hasn't done anything so far. Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard, they're nice. But you ain't game planning to stop them. Deshaun Jackson's hurt right now. So the Eagles offense is basically horizontal, run the football, and throw passes, short passes over the field. There's no threat of a vertical passing game. So the Cowboys look like the best team in this division right now to me. That's not saying much because the division is horrible all around. With the Jets and the Giants the Giants and the Redskins bringing up the rear. But I don't know. I don't know if the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win next week's game against the Cowboys. I would love it, but right now I'm not sure about that. Doug Peterson opened his big mouth talking guaranteeing a victory. Well, you better do something, because right now you haven't shown us Eagles fans anything. You haven't shown us anything. 49ers beat the Rams yesterday, 20-7. Jared Goff. What a disgraceful performance that was yesterday. 13-24, 78 yards, a QBR of 1.1, and a fumble lost. Let me stop. I don't even want to do that to him. Garoppolo, 24-33, 243 yards and interception. Rams receivers yesterday. Higbee had 3 receptions for 25 yards. Brandon Cooks had 3 receptions for 18 yards. Cooper Kupp had 4 receptions for 17 yards. Those were the Rams' 3 leading receivers yesterday. 49ers defense punked. 49ers defense just punked the Rams yesterday. They flat out embarrassed them. Sean McVay got undressed yesterday. He got undressed and exposed in public. Because that was embarrassing. You didn't have no Todd Gurley yesterday. Kittle just destroyed you. 8 receptions for 103 yards. Seahawks and the 49ers look like the 2 best teams in this division right now. And I lean more towards the 49ers because their defense is ferocious. I love this defense. I love this defense. I love the personnel that they have. 2, 6, 7 guys in the middle of the D line. Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner. Nick Bosa and D Ford on the edge, rushing the passer. Nick Bosa's a star already. Looks like one already. Fred Warner and Quan Alexander in the middle at linebacker. Once Ahkello Witherspoon comes back, he'll be the second corner. Jason Verrett in the slot. Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward as safety. Richard Sherman as your number one corner. This defense is fast. They're physical. They're aggressive. Their D-line is athletic and they're powerful. You can't run. You can't run in the middle against them. You can't get to the edge against them. And if you can, you got 2 speedy linebackers coming to get you. 49ers defense is legit. Number 1 against the pass and number 2 overall in total yardage. They're a legit NFC contender. I still don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo. But the 49ers have their winning formula. They're going to run the ball, run play action off of that, and they're going to play physical, aggressive, fast defense. That's a formula for winning. That is a formula for winning. I cannot deny that. I don't know how far Jimmy G can take them because he's still a question mark, but 49ers defense, it looks like the second best in the NFC because there's no defense better than the Bears. There is no defense in the NFL better than the Bears. But the 49ers look like they have the second best defense in the NFC, probably the third best defense overall because the Bears in New England are the best defenses. So they probably the third best defense in the whole NFL right now. But they have more talent than New England's defense, but I don't think they're better coached because I got to give that nod to Bill Belichick. But overall, 49ers, they've done a good job constructing their team the last few years. And they're a real threat in the NFC. So that's something to monitor going forward. Cardinals yesterday defeat the Falcons 34-33. Kyler Murray, 27 of 37, 3 touchdowns, had 340 yards throwing, had a QBR 90. Kyler Murray is a monster. He's improving weekly. And he also had 11 rushes for 32 yards. He's got a lightning quick release. We all know what he can do running the football. And he's doing this without any kind of legit receiving threats. Larry Fitzgerald is 36 years old, and he's his best receiver. David Johnson is his second best receiver, and he's a running back. And Kyler Murray is throwing for 340 yards. Now, granted, I get it's against the Atlanta Falcons, so, Matt Ryan wasn't bad yesterday. 30 of 36, 4 touchdowns, 356 yards. But the Falcons are just atrocious on defense. Cardinals, there's not really much to talk about with them other than Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury looks like he knows how to coach all of a sudden, winning 2 straight games. But we'll see as the season progresses. But the Cardinals, they're not going anywhere this year, so there's not much to talk about with them. I want to talk about these Atlanta Falcons because this is unbelievable. I'm not trying to call for anybody's job, but I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm just telling you what I see. Dan Quinn cannot fix this team. Now, I think he's a good defensive mind, but he's not showing it. He ain't shown it since he's been in Atlanta. The Falcons' defense is horrendous. They are horrible in the secondary. If there wasn't a Philadelphia Eagles, they would be the worst secondary in the league if there wasn't a Philadelphia Eagles. But at least they have some talent in their secondary. The Eagles don't even have that. They're a bunch of aging guys and guys who can't cover me and the popcorn guy. Look like me and the hot dog guy, the popcorn guy, and my siblings could get $150 and 3 touchdowns against the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. Unreal. But the Falcons secondary is atrocious. The Falcons defense overall is just horrible. Dan Quinn, oh man, Dan Quinn, it just doesn't look good. Arthur Blank's going to have to make some changes somewhere. That's the Falcons owner. He's going to have to make some changes somewhere because this is just unacceptable. 1-5. You have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, Austin Hooper, Devontae Freeman, a top O-line. And you're losing games. This is unbelievable. If the Falcons just had a semblance of a defense, they would be a decent team. And the only team they've beaten this year is the Philadelphia Eagles. They should be 0-6 if Nelson Aguilar had hands. But they're 1-5. The Falcons' defense this year is 31st in points, giving up 31 points a game. It's unbelievable. And then you're giving up 388 total yards a game, 26th in the league. How are you giving up almost 400 yards a game? You're giving up almost 400 yards a game. Dan Quinn doesn't look like he knows what he's doing right now. Or maybe just the Falcons just aren't good on defense. I don't know. But Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell aren't bad. Takk McKinley's not bad. Grady Jarrett's not bad. Desmond Trufant, he's had a down year, but I still like him as a corner. Ricardo Allen, DeMontez Casey, you have Keanu Neal. I just don't know what to say. The Falcons, they're just a disappointment. That's all they are, is a disappointment, as usual. A sub 500 team since they choked away a Super Bowl. What a blunder. They haven't recovered since, it looks like. It doesn't look like they ever will. Seahawks defeat Browns yesterday, 32-28. Baker Mayfield's getting exposed. All the comments that Rex Ryan has made about him look valid right now. People are saying Baker Mayfield's a one-read quarterback. Well, it looks that way. A couple weeks ago, I told you he was leading the league in throws in a double coverage. Yesterday, he goes 22 of 37, 249 yards, a touchdown, 3 interceptions. He's leading the league in interceptions. You're the number 1 overall pick, talking with your chest all out, and you're not showing up on the field. I like Baker Mayfield. But what is this that you're doing? And it's not all his fault either, because Freddie Kitchens is questionable as a play caller. And I had these questions about the Browns coming into the season when everyone was giving him all that hype. Freddie Kitchens has never called plays in the NFL before. He's never coached in the NFL before. And the Browns got 8 primetime games this year. I get it. Why? Because Odell Beckham got traded there. He's box office. Baker Mayfield runs his mouth a lot. So you're going to get headlines. You have Jarvis Landry there. They look like a team with a bunch of talent, and they look like a hot pick to go to the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield was third in MVP odds this year. This is MVP caliber play. What is this? Freddie Kitchens running the ball against the Seahawks on 4th and goal? What are you doing? The Browns are clearly overrated. Clearly. Ravens are like the best team in the division. It's unbelievable. Russell Wilson yesterday was impressive. 22 of 33, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns. Seahawks also another team that has a winning formula, running the ball for 38 rushes for 170 yards. The Seahawks and the 49ers have winning formulas. They're going to run the ball, let their quarterbacks make a few plays, and play defense. Now, Russell Wilson is way better than Jimmy Garoppolo, so they have the decided advantage there. But the 49ers can run the ball and play defense better than the Seahawks can. But the Seahawks are an NFC contender too, along with the Saints and the Packers. I don't see any other contenders in the NFC right now. Those are the 4 best teams in the NFC. And in the AFC, it's just the New England Patriots. I don't see another team that can challenge them legitimately challenge them. I don't see another team. Speaking of, the Texans beat the Chiefs 31-24. Deshaun Watson, 30 of 42, 280 yards, 2 interceptions, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Mahomes yesterday, weeks 1 through 3, on deep passes, which are passes of 20-plus air yards, he has 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 144 passer rating, 436 yards, 11 of 18. But weeks 4 through 6, 6 of 23 completions, pass yards 177, 2 touchdowns, 88 passer rating according to Next Gen Stats. Teams are taking away Mahomes' deep ball. And Tyreek Hill came back yesterday. He made an impressive catch over 2 guys. But once again, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is just horrible, as usual. You cannot rely on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Unless Patrick Mahomes can put up 35 points a game, the Chiefs can't win anything. They can't beat the New England Patriots. I'm sorry to say it. I like Ferrari Mahomes, But there's just no way that the Chiefs can beat the New England Patriots with this defense. They surrendered yesterday 41 rushes for 192 yards. And the Chiefs, on the other hand, have no running game, so they can't even keep their own defense off the field. 11 rushes for 53 yards? You're not running the ball enough. You have two good backs. Why are you not handing the ball off to the running back a little more to help this defense out? You know you have a terrible defense, but Andy Reid wants to have this circus of an offense and throw it all over the field. I get it. You have the best weapons in the league at receiver. But you got to do something. Your way hasn't gotten you to another Super Bowl, Andy. And this defense doesn't look improved with Steve Spagnuolo as the defensive coordinator. Your defense still stinks. What are you going to do about it? Because Deshaun Watson wasn't playing yesterday. Deshaun Watson in the fourth quarter in the last two games, 97 yards per game, 14 and 15 completions, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a perfect passer rating? Are you kidding me? Deshaun Watson is a superstar. He's a superstar. And Mahomes didn't play bad yesterday. 19-35, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, and interception. But at the end of the day, you just can't believe in what the Chiefs are putting out on the field. You just can't believe in it. You can line up against them, play man coverage, and neutralize their offense. Or at least slow it down. That's what the Detroit Lions did. It didn't work, but because the Detroit Lions lost ultimately, but it contributed to limiting them. You run the ball against them while they're on defense, and you play man coverage against them while they're on offense. You run the ball against their defense, and you play man coverage against the Chiefs while they're on offense. That seems to be the formula for success against them, at least to keep the game close. Make Patrick Mahomes have to throw it in tight windows. Chiefs, they can't. I can't believe in them. I believe in Mahomes. I believe in him. But their defense is still terrible. You can run on them. You can throw on them. You can do whatever you want against them. They don't have a signature that they can stop on defense. They can't stop the run or the pass. It's ridiculous. And this is why Mahomes is on his rookie deal. This is when you should be acquiring defensive talent. They're another team that needs to trade for Jalen Ramsey. Ridiculous. Steelers yesterday, the team I didn't expect to win. Steelers yesterday won 24-17. Hodges is a relatively game manager type stuff. And his nickname Duck, sorry, I'm not for that, but that's his nickname, so I guess. 15-20, 132 yards, a touchdown, an interception. Phillip Rivers, we need to start having a conversation about Phillip Rivers being overrated. We really do. I don't want to hear anyone ever say again that Phillip Rivers is better than Big Ben Roethlisberger. I don't ever want to hear that again. Because Phillip Rivers, before last year, missed the playoffs 7 out of 8 years. Phillip Rivers yesterday, most of this he acquired in garbage time, but he was 26 of 44, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had a QBR of 15. Threw a ball behind the line of scrimmage that was clearly a backwards pass and got a return for a touchdown. Threw another interception, threw 2 other interceptions. He's responsible for all the turnovers yesterday. Running game was big for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 36 rushes for 124 yards. It was a relatively safe game plan. James Conner was the leading receiver, 7 receptions for 78 yards. I'm concerned about the ball not being thrown to wide receivers. Juju only had 1 catch for 7 yards, and Deontay Johnson, your other leading receiver, only had 2 catches for 14 yards. Steelers can't throw it outside the numbers. They can't get it to they can't get it to their wide receivers. Eventually, teams are going to take that away. So the Pittsburgh Steelers got to get more creative on offense. Because right now, this is a bunch of game manager stuff that the quarterbacks are doing. D forced 3 turnovers. I was impressed. They neutralized the Bolts running game. 14 rushes for 32 yards. Melvin Ingram was running nowhere fast. Austin Eckler. It didn't matter who was running back. They weren't going anywhere. And this kid, Devin Bush, he looks like a defensive rookie of the year candidate. 7 tackles, an interception, a fumble recovery. And he had the fumble recovery for a touchdown yesterday. This guy's just a beast. He's a beast. And the Steelers secondary is much improved. They actually have corners they can rely upon. Steven Nelson didn't play yesterday. Artie Burns was in as his replacement. He got beat on 3 third downs for first downs. But the Steelers have a legit defense, have a legit secondary for once. With Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson on the outside, Mike Hillen in the slot, Cam Sutton in the other slot position on passing downs. Devin Bush and Vince Williams look like the best tandem at linebacker the Steelers have, not Devin Bush and Mark Barron or Vince Williams and Mark Barron. Minka Fitzpatrick has stabilized the back end of the defense, so they're not giving up deep passes. Terrell Edmonds looks better in the box. Overall, this defense has improved, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's too bad the Steelers didn't have this type of defense while Big Ben is healthy. It's too bad. But I was impressed yesterday with what I saw. We'll get to my top 5 winners now. First winner, gotta give it up to him, Kirk Cousins. I've been critical of him, but yesterday he played a fantastic game, as I already said. Had 4 touchdown passes, 94 QBR, 33 yards, lit the Eagles up. And, I mean, he didn't even know about Zach Brown's comments. He said that after the game, but he shut Zach Brown up. So I got to give him credit for that in and of itself. Stings me to say, but Kirk Cousins did his thing yesterday, lighting the Eagles up. Second winner, Jets/Saints. Jets, just because they got their first victory. Defense played pretty good. Sam Darnold seemed to reinvigorate the Jets offense and inspire their defense, so that was pretty impressive. Saints, they're 4-0 without Drew Brees. They're looking like the best team in the NFC right now, other than maybe the 49ers or the Packers. But Saints are a Super Bowl contender. Their season is not over, and their season's looking up right now. Drew Brees is coming back in a couple of weeks. Teddy Bridgewater will give the reins up, and Saints will get back to rolling with Drew Brees. At the end of the day, that's all it is. Third winner, Steelers D/49ers. Steelers D has impressed me ever since they've acquired Minka Fitzpatrick. They've been put in some tough spots and been worn down, obviously, throughout the game because the offense hasn't been able to do anything when the Steelers defense has created turnovers, but they're tops in the league in turnovers. So I've been impressed with the Steelers defense. 49ers are just an overall good balanced team. They run the football well. Jimmy G manages the game well. Kyle Shanahan is a great play caller. Offensive line does their job in the run game and pass protection. And their defense is just physical. They're nasty. They're aggressive. They force turnovers. They do everything. So 49ers defense, I really like them a lot. And 49ers are a good team. They're an NFC contender in my estimation, so that's impressive. Fourth winner, New England Patriots. Not even because they beat the Giants, because that was expected. New England Patriots are a winner because it looks like they're going to have an easy road to the Super Bowl because Chiefs can't beat them. There's no way with their defense. Texans, I don't know about them. I like Deshaun Watson a lot, but I just don't think that the Texans can beat the Patriots, although they have had trouble with mobile quarterbacks in the past, and DeAndre Hopkins is no joke. That'd be an interesting matchup to see him and Stephen Gilmore, and then Will Fuller on the other side with the Texans running game. But the Texans I just don't believe in their offensive line. They got to get that stabilized. I like that they traded for Laramie Tunsil and whatnot, and the Texans certainly have weapons, but I just don't know about that just yet. And I don't see any other team that could challenge them in the AFC. I don't believe in the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson, even though he's an improved passer, he's not beating New England just running the ball. Bill Belichick's going to make him throw the football, and I just don't think that he can throw all over the Patriots secondary. So right now it looks like the Patriots have a straight shot to another Super Bowl. At least they're guaranteed at least the AFC Championship game. There's no way they're not getting to that. But Super Bowl looks like it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. And my last winner of the week is the Dolphins. You might be wondering why. Well, the Dolphins are winners because they're still in good shape to have the number 1 overall pick. They lost yesterday to the Redskins, a battle of the winless teams, and the Dolphins maintained their winless position, and they still are in play for the number 1 pick, tanking for Tua. That's what they need to do. So they're a winner because they still have a chance at the number 1 overall pick, which is what they should be striving to get. So that's that. Dolphins, keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna turn around soon, maybe. We'll see. Top 5 losers, Rams/Chiefs. Rams and Chiefs, the two teams that led the league in scoring last year, look like they've been figured out. At least right now they have. Teams have had a minimum of 2 years to, 3 years for the Rams, 2 years for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Had 2 and 3 years of film on them. And now it looks like they've been figured out to some degree. You play man coverage against the Chiefs offense and make them take long drives down the field and run the ball against them. They can be had. Like I said with the Rams offense, their counter, they have a staple outside run play that is called the outside zone with Gurley. And to counter that, Bill Belichick started it. He had a 6-man front over every gap so they couldn't run to the outside. You disgrace the look of an inside run. And then you put a buzz to zone guy to cover the flats and the out routes. And then since the Rams like to run a lot of crossing routes, you have another guy that covers. You have the safeties and the other linebacker covering the underneath routes, all the deep over routes, digs, and crossing routes that they like to run from bunch formations, tight formations, because the Rams are a predominantly shotgun team, 11 personnel with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks, and then Todd Gurley out the backfield, Tyler Higbee or Gerald Everett at tight end, and the safeties squeeze the middle of the field and take all that away. So right now, and especially on defense, the Rams are just they're not good on defense. They're too inconsistent. They don't look good on defense. They weren't even good on defense last year until they got into the playoffs, which I give them credit for because you got to play your best ball in the playoffs. But last year, their defense wasn't that good. They just took the ball away a lot because they have a lot of playmakers. But Rams just don't look good. They're looking suspect right now. It looks like they're about to have a Super Bowl hangover, even though they didn't even win the Super Bowl. So looks like they're taking a step back while the Seahawks and the 49ers are taking steps forward. So that's something to monitor. Second loser, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. And this is exactly why I didn't have a problem with the Steelers trading their first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, because there's no guarantee that you get a quarterback with the first or second pick in the draft. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota were the number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft. And what have they done? Both former Heisman Trophy winners in 2013 and 2014, respectively. And Jameis Winston yesterday, 30 of 54, 400 yards, a touchdown and 5 interceptions. And Marcus Mariota yesterday got benched for Ryan Tannehill midway through the game, and he was 7 of 18 for 63 yards and 2 interceptions. This is your former number 1 and number 2 overall picks, and this is what you're getting. Guys that are not franchise quarterbacks. This is unbelievable. And then to add insult to injury, well, no, that's far down the list, but I'm going to just talk about him right now. Cam Newton's a former number 1 overall pick, and he's a former Heisman Trophy winner, and he looks like he's going to be up for grabs too. So you're going to have 3 guys that were former number 1 and number 2 overall picks. Number 1 overall picks in Cam Newton and Jameis Winston, respectively. Number 2 overall pick in Marcus Mariota after Jameis Winston in the same draft. Available on the market next year, because I don't think that the Tennessee Titans, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it looks like the Carolina Panthers are contemplating getting rid of Cam Newton because they have Kyle Allen, who's undefeated as a starter now. So it looks like you're going to have 3 high draft picks on the market next year as quarterbacks. It's not good. It's not good. Not good. Tampa Bay Bucks, they don't have a quarterback. Tennessee Titans, I don't know why they continue to believe in Marcus Mariota. He's got them to the playoffs one time. I give him credit for that. But the Tennessee Titans have a good defense, and Marcus Mariota is wasting away that defense. That's for certain. That is for certain. My third loser, Cam Newton, was my 4th loser. So I'm going to go back to my third loser for a second. My third loser was the Atlanta Falcons, because Dan Quinn in this defense is horrendous. It's embarrassing. The Atlanta Falcons have top talent on offense. You can make an argument they have the best offensive talent in the league with a top O-line. And this defense is horrendous. Dan Quinn's defense the last 4 weeks. Versus Arizona, 3.2 yards per attempt, 9.2 yards per pass, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 128 rating. Versus Houston, 28 of 33, 13 yards per pass attempt, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a perfect pass rating, 158.3. Versus Tennessee, Marcus Mariota was 18 of 27, 8.4 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 130 passer rating. And versus Indiana, 8.4 yards per pass attempt, 28 of 37 completions, 2 touchdowns, and 118.1 passer rating. That is god awful. That is atrocious. That is anemic as it gets. That is horrible. That is as horrible as it gets. That's as horrible as it gets. It does not get any worse for that on defense than what I just spewed out about the Atlanta Falcons. They are a horrible defense. And Dan Quinn, his signature is defense. And look, I'm sorry. Whatever you're known for, you got to be held accountable for. And he's got to be held accountable for the fact that this defense just is appalling. It is disgusting to watch. Them and the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know which defense is worse to watch. The Dolphins, they just don't have any talent other than Xavier Howard on defense, so you can't even fault them. But the Eagles and the The Falcons, they're horrible defenses. They're horrible. They're horrible. So I'm just done with them. I'm just done with them. So that was I have one more loser. The Browns. Browns are a loser because they're overrated to start the season. They have the most primetime games. Baker Mayfield looks suspect right now, leading the league in interceptions. Freddie Kitchens looks suspect as a coach. He's never been a head coach in the league, and everyone heaped all these expectations on the Browns, acting like they were going to do something. Baker Mayfield was third in MVP odds. And look at the Browns now, 2-4. It's embarrassing. They feel themselves a little too much when they win, and they cry too much when they lose, in my estimation. Baker Mayfield blaming the game on refs yesterday. No, bro. You threw 3 interceptions. Play better. You look like a one-read quarterback. You look like you're struggling with your reads and progressions. Do better. Unbelievable. I don't want to hear anything about the refs. It's about your play. Last thing I'm going to get to, Jalen Ramsey update, because I love Jalen Ramsey and saw some stuff yesterday about him. And then I'm going to get to my Monday Night Football preview and I'm going to get off. Ramsey. So this week it was reported that Jalen Ramsey and owner Shad Khan had a heart-to-heart meeting, and he expected after the meeting was over, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, said he expected Jalen Ramsey to play. Jalen Ramsey went and saw a back specialist, and it was determined that he had no debilitating back. And yesterday, Jalen Ramsey ended up not playing his third straight game. To me, I think Jalen Ramsey was sending a message to the owner, and he gave the owner a proverbial slap in the face yesterday and said, if you said you're going to trade me, Jalen Ramsey's not backing off his stance. He has a problem with Tom Coughlin. So unless Shad Khan, the owner, is going to fire Tom Coughlin, which doesn't seem likely, Jalen Ramsey wants out. Jalen Ramsey's not foolish. Shad Khan can say he wants to make Jalen Ramsey the highest paid corner in the NFL. That's not going to make Jalen Ramsey want to stay. Jalen Ramsey knows how great he is and knows he's going to get paid wherever he goes because he's the best corner in the NFL. He's the best corner in the NFL, and it's not close. I'm going to continue repeating it every episode that I talk about Jalen Ramsey because I don't want to hear anything about any other corners. I don't want to hear anything about any other corners because they're not better than Jalen Ramsey. But the Jags need to trade him. I get they don't want to set that precedent, but the owner's getting too emotionally involved. He's getting too much in his feelings. Because if you don't trade Jalen, every day that you don't trade Jalen Ramsey, you end up keeping him past this trade deadline into next year, which is not out of the realm of comprehension because the Jags have him locked up for this year and his 5th-year option next year. And then next year, after the season is over, he'll be a free agent. So it's not out of the realm of comprehension, but that'd be foolish. It'd be foolish, number one. I'll tell you why. Because right now, Jalen Ramsey's trade value is at its peak. A team offered you 2 first-round picks and you didn't want to trade them because you thought they were low first-round picks. Do you not believe in your scouting and talent department? Do you not think that you can draft guys in the first round? Why wouldn't you take that trade? You're going to be stubborn and you're going to hold on to him. Let's play the hypothetical. You hold on to him past the trade deadline. You don't trade him this year. Then his trade value is going to get lower next year if and when you might have to trade him because he's not going to re-sign with you. His trade value is going to be less because teams know he's going to hit the free agent market, so they're going to be less willing to give you 2 first-round picks. They might only give you 1 first-round pick next year. If that, they may just give you a high second, maybe a second and a third, but you're not going to get a first next year most likely if you wait until next year to trade him. Because his trade value is going to be lower because teams will know they could just wait for him to come into free agency and contact him and his agent then. But the Jaguars, this is why they're a poorly run franchise. They don't know what it takes to win. Number one. And number two, they're doing bad business. Jalen Ramsey wants out. He's a superstar player. This isn't like some scrub that wants out of an organization and you could just cut him. This is a superstar player and he does not want to play for you anymore. He's going to force his way out one way or another. I don't believe Jalen Ramsey's hurt. I don't believe he is. Now, I'm not going to call him bluff, but that's just my opinion. I don't think he's hurt because Jalen Ramsey's never missed an NFL game in his career, even going back to college until this year when all of a sudden he has a back. He hurt his knee and he hurt his back, apparently. Get out of here. It's no mistake that all of a sudden he's hurt when he doesn't want to play for the Jags. He's just showing up to collect game checks because he's about his money. But overall, I just don't get what the Jaguars are doing. There's a high enough market of teams that probably want him, that do want him. Go ahead and trade him. Get what you can for him while you can, or you're going to lose him for nothing in free agency, or get less value for him next year if you don't trade him this year and you trade him next year. So stop being stubborn and trade him. Monday Night Football preview. Lions and the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football tonight. I have the Packers winning this game 30-21. I think Matthew Stafford throws 2 interceptions. I think Aaron Rodgers has a 300-yard passing game. He throws for 3 touchdowns. I think Aaron Jones continues to light up run defenses like he did last week against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think he has as big of a game because he had 4 touchdowns last week. But overall, I think Aaron Jones has a big game and he does what he does. So that's it. But I appreciate you guys for listening. If you guys have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments section under this episode. Once again, I want to shout out my boy Conrad. I appreciate the logo, bro. I love you and I appreciate what you did for me. So other than that, y'all go check out his podcast. Once again, it's on YouTube at MTMV Sports Podcast. But other than that, I thank you guys for listening again. I'm out.